Most homeowners come to me after they've already made their expensive mistake, not before, after. And every single time it was avoidable, every single time. Today, I'm going to give you 5 mistakes I see most often on extension and renovation projects in the UK, so you can stop them happening to you and save yourself thousands of pounds. Hi, I'm Paul from LiteBox, and I help homeowners across the UK design extensions and renovations to their homes that actually work, both practically and financially. If you want no jargon advice on everything to do with home extensions and renovating your home, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into it, because if you're planning an extension or a renovation, what I'm about to tell you could genuinely save you a 5-figure sum. So 5 mistakes, all of them common, all of them avoidable. And every single one of them comes up in my consultations week after week with homeowners who wish they'd have known this earlier. So, the first mistake, and this is the one that derails most projects more than anything else, is underestimating what an extension actually costs. Not the headline figure the builder gives you, the true cost, the full picture. So here's what homeowners typically forget to budget for. So professional fees, your designer, your structural engineer, the planning consultant. Then there's the planning fees, which, by the way, are about to increase on the 1st of April 2026. Then there's your building control fees, a party wall surveyor if you're building on the boundary. Then there's the internal fit out, so kitchens, flooring, decorating. This is often not included within the builder's quote. And finally, the VAT, which on extensions is normally charged at a standard rate. So by the time you've added all of that up, the gap between what somebody has budgeted and what the project actually costs can be significant. Now, I've seen homeowners expecting to spend £80,000 and realise halfway through they need 110. Let's be honest, we've all watched Grand Designs and we know how that turns out. So what's the fix? So before you even approach a designer, get a realistic cost, a square metre cost for your area. Then add on your professional fees, your statutory costs, your fit out, and then finally your contingency on top. Build the full picture first. The second mistake, choosing the cheapest drawings or the cheapest designer. And I'll be honest with you, this one is close to home for me as a professional. I see what happens when homeowners go for the cheapest option on design. They get drawings that just about satisfy planning, nothing more. No thought given to how the space actually works, no detail on the specification, no coordination with the structural engineer, and those drawings go out to tender and the builders are quoting on incomplete information, which means the price that you get back is unrealistic. You may as well just throw them in the bin. Good design fees are not a luxury, they're a protection. A well-detailed set of drawings reduces the risk for your builder, reduces uncertainty in your quote, and reduces the chance of costly variations during the build itself. Now, if somebody is offering you drawings for 500 quid, ask yourself, what's actually included? Because cheap drawings have a habit of becoming expensive buildings. Now, that's exactly why I offer online consultations, because the best time to get professional advice is before you've committed to anything. So for £130, you can get a one-to-one session with me. We look at your project, the site, your budget, your brief, and I'll tell you what's realistic, what to watch out for, and what to do first. So failing to plan is planning to fail. It's a cliche, but it's true. And in construction, failing to plan doesn't just cost you hours, it costs you thousands of pounds. So spend £130 now, save 10 to 15,000 later. The link's in the description. The third mistake, no contingency budget. I'll keep this one simple. You will always find something unexpected when you're opening up walls and floors that haven't been touched in 20, 30, even 40 years. Drainage in the wrong place, asbestos in old properties, ground conditions or trees that require deeper foundations, structural issues behind a chimney breast. All of these are real and all of them cost money. None of them appear in your original quote. The industry standard is a contingency of 10 to 15% on top of your build cost. Not on paper, but in your bank account. Ready and accessible, because when it happens, and it will, you will need to be able to deal with things quickly so that you don't stop the build. Now, an empty contingency fund is how projects stall halfway through. And a half-built extension is an expensive, stressful, and vulnerable structure to just leave sitting there. Mistake number 4, Picking your builder purely on price. I see this all the time. You've spent months planning this. You've got your design, you've got your planning approval, your structural drawings, everything is in order. And then it goes to tender and one builder comes back 20 grand cheaper than everyone else. Now, I know that that number is seductive. I understand that. But ask yourself this question. Why? Have they missed something on the drawings? Are they planning on using cheap materials? Do they actually have the capacity to deliver your project? Or are they stretched on 4 other jobs? Have they priced the build correctly? Or are they going to come back to you mid-build with extras and variations? So what's the fix? Get 3 quotes. Check the builder's references. I mean, actually call up and check their references. Go and see their recently completed projects. Ask the builder if he knows who their building inspector is and if he's worked with them before. And do your homework. These are the questions that separate a builder who will deliver your project to one that will cost you thousands over your budget. Just think, if you're buying a car, would you buy the cheapest? Or would you go for the mid-range option? Or maybe even the more expensive one from the trusted main dealer? Price matters, of course it does, but it's one factor, not the only factor. The 5th mistake, and honestly, for me as a designer, this is the most frustrating one I see, because this is the hardest one to fix when something's been built, and that is not thinking about how the space actually works in real life. I had a client who wanted a full open plan kitchen, living, dining space. Knocked everything through. It looked incredible, genuinely stunning space. It had a huge roof lantern, full width bifold doors, the works. 6 months later, when she moved back in, she hated it. She told me she would give anything just to have a wall back in. It's too noisy. They couldn't escape the kitchen smells. The kids were doing the homework while somebody had got the TV on. The dog was barking, which was echoing around the room. And the design worked perfectly on paper, but it didn't work for how that family actually lived. Now, this was again a job that the client had got cheap drawings and nobody had actually considered of how the space was going to work and how it worked for that family. Before you commit to a layout, think about your real life, your actual daily routine. Where do the kids do their homework? Where do you decompress after work? Do you need a quiet space away from the main living area? Do your elderly parents come over to visit? Or do you need a room somewhere quiet to work, a home office? Design for the life that you actually live, not for the life that you think you want on Instagram, because these are often 2 very different things. 5 mistakes. 5 things I see costing UK homeowners thousands every week. Underestimating the true cost. Build the full picture before you commit to anything. Choosing the cheapest designer. Good design fees are protection, not a luxury. No contingency. 10 to 15% in the bank, ready to use. Picking the cheapest builder without asking the right questions. And finally, designing a space of how you think you should live rather than how you actually do live. Here's the thing, none of these are complicated. They don't require any specialist knowledge. They just require you to slow down at the beginning of the process and ask the right questions. And if you want help doing exactly that, that is what my online consultation is for. One conversation, early doors, before you've committed to anything. Check out the link in the description. Now, which one of these mistakes resonates with you? Have you seen one of these on your project? If you have, leave a comment below, because I would genuinely like to know, because I suspect I'm not going to be surprised at the answers. If this video has been helpful, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.